Okay, let's talk about Victorian politics. Robert Gottliebsen had an interesting story recently. He wrote about a report that was written 8 years ago which found a massive reserve of natural gas in the Gippsland region near the Longford treatment plant and the East Coast pipeline network. It contained the equivalent of 60% of the gas extracted from Bass Strait over the past 50 years. But, and here's the clincher, the report was ignored by then Premier Denis Napthine and by his successor, the man you and I know both love, Dan Andrews, who has since actually banned the act of even searching for gas onshore in Victoria. Gideon, what is it about Victorians that supposedly made them afraid of a cheap new supply of gas in 2014?
Well, I don't know. It's madness. But look, Fred, you and I both know that it's becoming sort of political tradition in this country to squander the best assets we have. I mean, aside from Victoria, there is somebody on my Telegram channel sent me a story not so long ago about $250 billion in oil, I think it is, located in South Australia. Now, they could make us energy independent for a generation, but nobody's going to touch that, of course. Same thing here in Victoria. But as you said, the difference here in Victoria, I guess, is that we have a bipartisan commitment to energy insecurity. We had Denis Napthine, who locked up these resources to begin with, partly to appease Green sensibilities. Well, how well did that work out for them? A one-term government lost to Daniel Andrews, of all, the people, for Christ's sake. Then you had Daniel Andrews actually write this ban, not just on drilling, on even looking for it into the Constitution. Now you have Matthew Guy, who could be making a meal out of the fact that we're, according to this isn't me from the IPA saying this is the Australian Energy Market Operator saying Australia could just run out of gas, not expensive gas, not bills through the roof, could run out outright. Matthew Guy, rather than talking about that, or maybe, God forbid, not closing and even reopening some coal power plants, we have sky-high electricity prices in Victoria. We're talking about rationing, and Matthew Guy is matching or goading Labor into accepting a bigger 2030 legislated carbon target, the one that is 50%. That is higher than Anthony Albanese's target of 43%. So unfortunately for the people in Victoria, not only do we have this insane energy policy, but there is no voter choice in real terms. No major party is saying we will bring energy prices down by doing what Victoria does and does best. And that's very sad for everybody, but that's Victoria for you.
Oh, what have they done to deserve it, Gideon? Now, quickly before you go, a very quick one. A recent report by Ambulance Victoria found that too many of its officers were white men, and it's now actively seeking other types of people to do the job. Gideon, do Victorians who've been struck by a medical emergency or have been injured worry about the colour and gender of the person who will drive them to hospital?
I always do. If I broke my leg, I'd make sure that I had a diverse and, it's ridiculous. These obsessions with diversity and so on are, asinine. It should be the best person for the job. I mean, that's all just common sense stuff. But the other point about all this is the Victorian ambulance system we are talking about. This is not exactly the tightest running ship in Australia at the moment. And I feel bad almost making light of it. In fact, I shouldn't make light of it, because for a lot of families, it is literally a life and death matter. We have code reds, complete lack of ambulance resources declared every 5 minutes in this state. They have, of all the things they should be worrying about, of all the things to be talking about right now, the diversity of ambulance drivers. I mean, this is too serious for that. I mean, almost everything is too serious for that, but especially this life and death situation that's been created by Daniel Andrews and this government that runs on keeping us safe. It is just perverse and absurd.